Hello there. My name is Greg, and this is the very first episode, submission, video, whatever we want to call this, of what I want to call Daily Illuminations. My purpose in sending these, in creating these, is partially selfish. You know, if you've ever had an opportunity to teach a lesson, you know that the teacher always gains the most because you go through. Not that I necessarily am trying to put myself up as a teacher. Really, I'm just a dude who loves these sacred writings, and so I'm sharing with you. And I'll share some. I'll share the scriptures or the writings, whatever it may be. We'll look at a couple of different sources. And my thoughts, and they're not particularly scholarly thoughts. I am certainly, like I say, I'm just a dude, but I try and watch the world around me, and I try and think about things, and I try to listen to my Heavenly Father as He whispers, what is important for me. So I'm not trying to change the whole entire world, but certainly if any of what I share here is helpful to you, then that's wonderful. That's the other reason why I'm doing this. So part for me, part for you. Anyways, so what I wanted to do with this very first one today is start at the very beginning of my very favorite book in the world, and that is the Book of Mormon. All I want to talk about today is the very first verse of the very first book of the Book of Mormon, 1 Nephi chapter 1. So what I'm going to do, let me read through it for you, and then I'll go back and I'm going to comment on just a few things. Ready? Here we go. I, Nephi, having been born of goodly parents, therefore I was taught somewhat in all the learning of my father. I didn't say, by the way, that I was going to read it perfectly. And having seen many afflictions in the course of my days, nevertheless, having been highly favored of the Lord in all my days, yea, having had a great knowledge of the goodness and the mysteries of God, therefore I make a record of my proceedings in my days. It's a pretty good start to a good book, huh? So let's go back and let me just kind of comment on a few of my favorite parts. I love that Nephi gives credit to his parents. He says, having been born of goodly parents, right? I was born of goodly parents. And where would we be without our parents? Notice he doesn't say having been born of perfect parents. Nope, me neither. And guess what? I am far from being a perfect parent. I hope I can qualify to be thought of as goodly, but that's okay, right? That's kind of our condition here on earth. We're born of goodly parents and they do their best, and we do our best, and Heavenly Father takes care of the rest. So, goodly parents. I like this next part. Therefore, I was taught somewhat in all the learning of my father. And I think about that. I don't know, but what comes to my mind is that his father is Lehi. I can visualize Lehi trying to teach his sons everything that he knows, and only so much of it actually stuck. As parents, we try, but our children don't always retain everything, do they? But that's okay. We don't need everything. We just need enough. So he was taught somewhat in all the learning of his fathers, having seen many afflictions in the course of my days. Now this is interesting because we're going to learn as we walk through more of his story in future segments that he had a lot of afflictions throughout his days. He had just really miserable older brothers, and they were abusive to him. They beat him. They tied him up. They threatened to kill him. They tried to kill him. He suffered, starvation and deprivation and all sorts of things. And yet, listen to what he says. Having been highly favored of the Lord in all my days. Huh. Isn't that interesting? He doesn't say, well, there were good times and bad. There were times of blessing and times of not so much. He gives credit to Heavenly Father that even during the tough times, that the Lord was still watching out over him and blessing him. And I think that that is the case for all of us, right? When, even though our life might not be going the way we think it ought to be going at any given moment, that doesn't mean that the Lord is not pouring out blessings on us. It means maybe that we are going through some experiences that He thinks will be for our best good, and we should be grateful for that. So let's see. Having had a great knowledge of the goodness and the mysteries of God, and I like that. Having had a great knowledge, and I think what that means is he was aware of these blessings. He was sensitive to it. He was trying to keep an eye out for when the Lord was blessing him with things. We can certainly go through life just like focusing on all the wrong things and be completely unaware of what the Lord is doing for us and for those around us, and his hand in all of our lives. And that's unfortunate. Having had a great knowledge of the goodness and the mysteries of God. So the blessings, the goodness and blessings of God, and the mysteries, and I think sometimes that means probably that he was given insight into some of the things that, it takes pondering, it takes praying, it takes, kind of paying attention and asking Heavenly Father to help you understand things, and He will help you to understand. He'll unlock these mysteries. I don't think it has anything to do with how many angels will dance on the head of a pin or things like that, but maybe just insights into why am I going through this right now? Why is this a weakness for me? Why do I have to struggle again and again and again with this thing? Why did this? Why are things kind of transpiring the way they are? I think that we're not going to be given answers to everything, but I think that Heavenly Father is happy to share insights with us into things that are important for us to know, and things that are that we ask Him. Anyways, then he finishes out, therefore I make a record of my proceedings in my days. And I like that. He does begin by kind of restating his father's journey, but basically he's just sharing his experience. And in a way, I'm not trying to directly compare myself to Nephi exactly. He's amazing. I'm just me, but that's really what I'm trying to do here. Is I feel like I've been greatly blessed, and so I'm just sharing the thoughts that are in my heart. And if there's anything that I can pass along that is useful or helpful for you in your life, then that's awesome. And if it's not so helpful, then I'm sorry, but this is my life and the things that I've observed, and the things that have occurred to me, and so I feel like I need to share my blessings. So there you go. Thank you very much for joining, and I look forward to doing more of these. See you soon.